This is Cybertron Messiah from Bubble Blabber. This is a special interview today. With us, we have Miles Luna, director, writer, and all around good guy for Red vs. Blue Season 13. And
Hello, thank you.
so, real quick, without getting too spoilery, uh,
Right off the bat, huh?
well, people are going to want to know, and I have to ask it. Um, what happened, without getting too much into detail, for people who haven't seen season 12 yet, what happened at the end of season 12 and how does that lead into season 13?
What happened at the end of season 12? You talking post-credit scene? Or are we talking
Like when the whole group goes to Felix and Locust and go, we got you. This is everything that's been going on. We're going to stop you. From
mhm.
that scene to the actual beginning.
Oh, so what's been happening between 12 and 13?
Yeah.
Well, that's some stuff that you'll find out when the season starts, but there has been some time in between the two seasons. We're not picking up immediately afterwards. I won't get into the deets, but a little bit of time has passed.
Okay.
So we will see how that time has affected our Reds and Blues and Feds and News and everyone in between.
Okay. And going in between 12 and 13 again, on the production side, what has been done differently that was done in season 12 that is done in a completely different way from 13?
Oh God, everything. 13 is 13 is the last chapter in the Chorus trilogy, and we wanted to go out with a bang. Season 11 was it was just me, Kyle, and then whenever we could grab extra hands to do machinima, and that was pretty much it. And then me working with Nico on music. 12, we got a little bigger. We had Josh get added to the machinima team, and then we brought on Chris Dyke and Christopher Peterson to help with animation, and that was allowed us to do a couple of some smaller level fights and a lot of visual gags, and that was a lot of fun to have. But it was still a relatively small team. This season is it's the biggest team I've ever been a part of, and it's both really really exciting and really terrifying. We have probably close to maybe like 25 people working on this season. Animators, modelers, lighting artists. We brought in someone to help produce, Cohen Wooten. Maggie's helping out. Gray and Carrie are helping out. It's insane. It's really really crazy. Biggest changes, I think, this season. Kyle and Josh are officially our machinima leads. They're pretty much going to be machinimating everything that you see in Halo 4. I'll be doing directing across the board, and we'll sit down, we'll kind of shot list things out, do approvals and stuff. But they've really taken up the mantle of all the in-game filming. And then, of course, we have this huge team of animators that are allowing us to do more ambitious things. There was a lot of stuff that we wanted to do in season 12 with our team, and whether or not we succeeded at what we set out to get varies depending on who you ask. But we definitely have a lot more talent and a lot more machines to work with. So everything's just a lot bigger. Everything from the story to the production, and it's been a huge learning experience for me personally. It's a little overwhelming, but I tell you, man, these guys are it's like we assembled the Avengers. Like everybody is so perfect. We got the best people from X-Ray and Vav and Ruby and past seasons of RVB that it really is just a dream come true. I feel so undeserving of our team.
Wow, that's high praise calling your team the Avengers.
Dude, we got a Hulk out there, or two.
Okay, last season, Tucker became somewhat of the de facto leader of both the Reds and Blues. Can we expect that to continue into season 13, or is there going to be somebody else taking that mantle?
So, leadership this trilogy has been really interesting. Yeah, in season 11, I would argue that Agent Washington was kind of our, if you had to pick one character, I think RVB is an ensemble cast kind of show. But definitely, if you had to pick one character, it'd probably be Wash. And we were following Wash's transition into being the leader of a team that didn't really want him as their leader. Then we switched to season 12, where we have a team that wants a leader, but the leader doesn't want to be the leader. The torch was essentially passed from Washington to Tucker, and Tucker's gone through a lot of character development, as have a few other characters, but very obviously Tucker, especially in season 12, we see him dealing with things from you because he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and everybody's looking at him asking, "What do I do?" And all he really has to say is, "Shit, I don't know." So moving into season 13, we're going to continue to spend some time with Tucker, but we're going to be we will be focusing a little less on him struggling to come to terms with being a leader, because in my mind, he kind of came to terms with it by the end of the season. He never wanted to be a leader, but when the time came, he knew what he had to do. He came up with a plan, and they figured something out. Now that Carolina and Epsilon and Wash are all back, he's going to be feeling a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable with hard decision-making responsibilities with those guys. But that doesn't mean he's going to be taking a back seat or anything like that. But to me, for Tucker's character, he never was the kind of guy that would want to be in the position of power. He just kind of did it when he had to. So now that he's got all of a bunch of other capable leaders alongside him, I don't think he's going to really be upset if Carolina wants to do something. He's not going to be like, "Whoa, hold on, let me call the shots," But I will say, I think all the other characters now value his opinion a lot more than they used to. They're not just going to shush him off and be like, "Shut up, Tucker. Go hit on girls." They'll take what he has to say and think about it. And a lot of this upcoming season is going to be just all of our characters working together more so as a team.
Okay. Master Chief, the Master Chief Collection came out late last year, and Halo 5 Guardians is coming out, I think this year or early next year. How has the release for both the Master Chief Collection and Halo 5 Guardians, you might as well lump in the Xbox One, and how has that impacted RVB?
It's a great question. When they were first announced the one, of course, our first question was, so does that mean we can get 8 Xbox Ones now? The answer was, let's see if we should. When the Master Chief Collection came out, we were so excited. The first thing we did as soon as we got a copy is Kyle and I ran into the Let's Play room and looked at all the maps, all the Forge objects. There were so many cool things that they added. We were disappointed though to find that the Halo 4 game types in the Master Chief Collection don't allow armor set customization. You can choose a full set like the Locust set or the Soldier set or the Warrior set, but you can't mix and match those parts, which unfortunately is every single one of our characters. I don't think we have a single character that is one uniform armor set. So that right there ruled out the possibilities of getting to use the Master Chief Collection for Season 13 in terms of like using it for filming all of our machinima. As for Halo 5, hasn't had a huge impact. We're releasing RVB earlier than usual this year, and I still actually haven't had a chance to play it. It sucks. I really want to. It looks interesting. I have weird feelings about 4 and what looks like 5 will be, but I don't know. I haven't had hands-on experience with it. Maybe soon. But yeah, Halo 5, not a huge impact. Halo 4, thought it might have a huge impact. It turns out not so much.
Okay, so let's switch gears real quick and talk about Ruby.
Sure.
How is production of Season 3 coming along? Can we expect a teaser at the end of an episode like we did for Season 2?
I don't know. We are just now kind of getting started. Obviously, we've been through a lot of crazy stuff this year. And in terms of just our overall schedule for the whole company, things are shifting around. Our animation department is expanding at a beautifully fast rate. I love animation, and we just recently announced Season 2 of X-Ray and Vav. Obviously, we're going into RVB 13, which is going to be huge. And there's even more stuff way farther down the road that I can't even talk about yet, but I'm so excited about that we can't get into details on just yet. But Ruby 3, we're working on it. Carrie and I are in talks with Shane and Gray, and a bunch of us have been sitting down and going over documents and Fortunately, we had a really strong storyline that we came up with years ago, back when we first started this thing, and that's going to be able to carry us, for quite a long time. So we're just kind of in the infancy of getting started with Ruby 3, but it's definitely still coming.
Okay, that's good. I think I had one more for Ruby. I can't find it right now. So anyway,
Where did we get this beautiful?
yes. Where did you get that?
I swear to God, that's not product placement. This is the only quiet place in the whole damn office. And
well, since you brought it up, hey, where did you get that beautiful Ruby wall scroll?
You can get that from roosterteeth.com/store/ I don't fucking know. Look up it yourself. I do really like it though. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, but I like it. It's so pretty.
Well, it's a funny story. I was getting ready to get the stream going, and then I see I have the broadcast bubble logo that is right above your, right on the left side of your head, and I go, oh wow, that's covering the Ruby logo, or the Ruby wall scroll. Let's move that over to the left side.
Oh, you're too kind.
Well, I mean, it's product placement. We can't have that go away. So I read on your Twitter that you had your first experience with Final Fantasy the other night.
I did, yeah.
So, for those who missed it, what was the experience like?
Well, the experience with our Final Fantasy 15 demo, which I know, blasphemy, I haven't played Final Fantasy games, but I didn't have a PlayStation growing up, so I just kind of missed all of that. So 15 was my first experience. I understand it's very different from the other ones. It played kind of like Kingdom Hearts. It's nice, it's pretty. I look like I'm part of some sort of K-pop band. And we're a group of 4 that probably tours the world performing. We got killed a few times, and we met a lovely woman named Sid that I could just go on and on about.
Well, just to let you know, in past lives, I mean past Final Fantasies, Sid was a dude, so...
That's what I understand, which I thought was really cool. That because I vaguely understand that each one is a completely different story, but there are some consistencies like the Chocobos and the Sid character. I thought it was cool that they kind of decided to play with.
Yeah, trust me, I can go on for days about Final Fantasy tropes, and I don't think this is the show to do it. All right, so let's go to some fan questions.
All right.
BFET9 on Twitch wants to know, who is the hardest character to write for?
Oh my God, it's Caboose. It's Caboose. When I first got started, Sarge was the hardest character to write for. Sarge is like one of my favorite characters. I love the Reds. And yeah, I had a hard time capturing Sarge until we actually got Matt in the booth for the first few times. And Matt has this tendency to ad-lib and go on forever. And that's when I realized, oh my God, that's Sarge. Like, Sarge will take the joke, then he takes it further, then he stretches it to his limit, and then he takes it 100 yards down even farther. Like, he will just keep going and going and going because he's just like this old senile dude that keeps rattling stuff off. So once I realized that after seeing Matt perform, I was like, oh, okay. But Caboose, man, Caboose is really, really hard. One of the other things that we're doing this year is Carrie and Gray have stepped up to help write PSAs just because I'm really, really strapped for time this season. And they've done a really great job, but they're having to go through the same difficulties that I went through when I first started writing, which is falling into a few traps. And the biggest trap for Caboose is everyone always assumes Caboose is kind of just like, he's an idiot. He's all puppies and sunshine and rainbows and likes fluffy cats and stuff. But that's not exactly Caboose, because Caboose can also slip into a jealous rage and become homicidal and builds robots that become his friends and communicates with them. And yeah, Caboose is like just the most bizarre character. Like, he's just the wild card of wild cards. So he's always a really difficult guy to write for.
Okay, and on Twitter we have at RobStar4, and he wants to know, will you be directing or writing more RVB after this season? Please say yes.
Well, thanks, man. We're not sure. It's very possible. Whether or not I'm writing and directing the next season is still kind of up in the air. If I'm not, I'm definitely going to be serving as kind of a supervisor position, the way Bernie has acted with me for the first couple of seasons I started, where he was always kind of there to give punch-ups and give advice. And now it's like, I guess he's let me out of the nest to fly. When I first got started, it was always like, we had some notes and punch ups from Matt and Bernie, and they've dwindled into hardly any notes anymore on scripts, which is like nice but also scary. But yeah, if I don't end up writing and directing for the next season, I'll definitely be there to serve as someone to guide whoever would be that would write the next one. And then if I do end up writing the next one, we've got a bunch of different ideas for a bunch of things. It's to answer your question, maybe. This is like I said earlier, this is the end of a big story arc. So we'd have to find what the next one is and where that's going to go and where our characters are going to go and all that stuff. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay, back on Twitch. I have no idea how to pronounce this name. Terzarz Iriza? Yeah, that one. Sorry if I butchered your name really bad. It's not my intent. But he wants to know, we've seen you teasing Elijah Wood coming to the Rooster Teeth Studios. Can we expect a return of Sigma, especially with the teaser at the end of RVB 12?
I don't remember teasing Elijah Wood coming to the studio. It'd be cool to have Elijah Wood come to the studio. Erin would lose her mind. She might leave me for him. There's a lot of possibilities that could happen this season, and I'm not going to get into the details. But Elijah Wood, if you just so happen to be watching this, come on down. We'll have Mountain Dew or Topo Chico, play some Halo, talk some stuff. It'll be a good time.
Okay, and on Reddit, Taylor Colosis wants to know, how did Ruby happen?
How did Ruby happen? I'll tell you exactly how Ruby happened. Carrie was working at his desk in the old office. Monty came up to him and was like, we should make an anime. And then he walked off, and then Carrie was like, we should make an anime. And then they started talking about making anime, and then they said, we should get someone else in on this. And then they both came to my desk, and they both said, we should make an anime. And I was like, okay, cool, when do we start? And that is how Ruby happened. Monty just kind of set out and decided to make the Red trailer in the little spare time that he had, and then he showed it to Matt and Bernie, and he was like, hey, Little Red Riding Hood, but not. Check out this gun scythe. And they said, when can you start?
That's awesome. All right, so we have, I'm guessing somebody on Reddit, Aga Vedit. I am butchering these names today. I am terrible.
Just commit to whatever
I'm
name.
I'm committing to it. It's the only way you can do it. Which one of the new characters from the Chorus trilogy is your favorite to write for, and why?
Palomo. Oh, Palomo is absolutely my favorite, because Palomo is essentially just Carrie, even more deranged and insane. Yeah, whenever there was actually a few times this season where I was experiencing some writer block, and I didn't know, like I was like, this scene's dragging on too long, and there's just a bunch of like stuff I don't care about. What do I do? And then I realized, if I just make this character Palomo, and then he says that, I feel immediately better now about this. Yeah, Palomo's a lot of fun to write for, of our new guys. And then of course the mercenaries are a lot of fun too, just because who doesn't love a bad guy?
I think everybody loves them. So we have, back on Twitch, Daxart. He wants to know, Miles, your female characters are far more dynamic than formerly seen in RVB. Can we expect to see them develop more? And in parentheses, he goes, please not romantically, good God.
There's definitely going to be some more, I guess you could say, development with our female characters. We've got, we're spending a lot of time with characters from, certain characters from the New Republic and from the Federal Army. And yeah, they'll definitely be, we brought them on for a reason, just because it's like, hey, this is a cool character. Whether some of them, get a lot of spotlight and everyone loves them, or some of them, have a more difficult time this season and we start to question, how do we feel about this person? I don't know. It's kind of all across the board. But yeah, I mean, they're just like any of our other characters.
And Poison Miffin. I'm going to go with Miffin. Why not?
It's called Poison.
Yeah, I'll just go with Poison. He wants to know, what would it be like if Epsilon and Alpha talked to each other? I'm sure the idea must have crossed yours and Bernie's mind.
If Epsilon and Alpha talk to each other? Did you ever see the episode where Church goes back in time 1,000,000 times and meets himself? Pretty much, there's your answer.
That was near the end of season 4, wasn't it? Season 5.
I think that was three or... I don't know. I think that was 3 because I think 4 starts with them going on the great journey with Crunch Bite. I think that was like mid 3. It was around the 50s. I think is when. Is that? I don't know. It was somewhere around that time.
It's yeah, it's been a very long time since I've watched that far back, and I feel bad for myself right now. Okay, this is Vogue 2014 actually has a really good question. And I meant to ask this before. Let me find the question again. Okay. He goes, having RVB start on April 1st isn't some kind of giant April Fool's prank, is it?
No, it's not. We don't do April Fool's jokes. It is happening. And then if you're a sponsor, you get to watch it a day early. We're going back to the good old days where sponsors had some really like badass advanced screenings. So sponsors, enjoy it on the 31st and tag your spoilers, or Tumblr will eat you alive. They do that. I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Tumblr's a scary place. They say, "Oh, we're all welcome." Careful. There's some crazy people there. They'll destroy you. Tag your spoilers.
Whoever said everybody is welcome on Tumblr is a liar. Now, speaking of Tumblr, how has the interaction between fans on Tumblr and even Rooster Teeth's somewhat social network, I don't even know what to call it, how is the interaction on all the different social media sites help shape the shows that you're doing now?
I mean, it lets us know when we're doing something right, I suppose. I actually remember being really, really concerned when season 12 started, because the first few episodes, I don't remember seeing like negative comments until we got a few episodes into the season, as opposed to season 11 where there's like negative comments on every video, and like every other video I've ever made, there's always negative comments, because, you know, you can be the juiciest peach in the world, but there's still someone out there that doesn't like peaches. There's always something negative, and I remember being really weirded out on the first few episodes of 12 where I was like, no one's complaining yet. What the fuck is going on? This is some sort of hidden camera prank. I think the only time like fan comments and reactions ever like truly affected anything was season 11. Season 11 I was tasked with going back, and we wanted to kind of do just straight comedy Blood Gulch style stuff, which is apparent from the way we chose to film it in All Machinima, Throwing the Guys in the Canyon. But it became really clear to us really soon that just doing straight comedy wasn't cutting it anymore. There were so many comments saying like, when's the plot gonna happen? So that was when we had some ideas that would take place at the very end of the season, that we actually decided, you know what, we should probably speed this process up and bring some people in sooner. So I think, Locus appears in episode 6 when we reveal Freckles. He wasn't originally going to appear until, I think, originally 10 was when we were going to start dealing with that stuff. That's the only time in my memory that we've ever actually went through the process of changing something to make fans happy. And that was also one, too, where as we were watching it, I think we also kind of realized we needed something else there. It was like just going from 10 to just like, dick jokes and roommate problems. We missed it, I think, ourselves too. We missed the mystery and the drama and stuff. I think that would be the only time. The other stuff is, I whenever we post an episode, immediately I open my Reddit, my Tumblr, my Twitter, Rooster Teeth comments, like everything, and I'm just like, okay, what do they think? What do they think? What do they think? It's a problem. But it's nice. It's nice I love seeing the all caps responses of, oh my God, and oh, I loved it when this happened. That's always really nice.
Okay. Iga Vedit again came in with another question. Looking back, is there anything in the past 2 seasons that you would like to change?
Yeah, there is. I think season 12, I think the number one thing that I wish I could go back is, because essentially almost all of season 12 was we were under the gun due to just, a list of things that happen when you're making a production, whether it be hardware stuff or just things that are out of your control, and then my inability to write faster. There was a good portion of season 12 where we were just the episodes that were released was just like the first draft of the script. Like we just had to roll with it and hope like, well, I hope we're not screwing anything up here. The number one thing I wish I could go back and change would be handling Carolina's injury in 12. At the time, it seemed like, because she has all these like superhuman crazy abilities. It wouldn't really be interesting to watch if she just could destroy everything. So at the time I was like, we'll have her get injured and then we can kind of do this and that and the other. And I don't know. I know some people weren't really happy with it. And looking back on it, I wish I had chosen something different as well. But due to just everything that we had to work with and the size of our crew, we just didn't have the ability to do the zaniness that was season 10's level of action. But I'm still crazy proud with like all the fights and things that we did put out, and I still can't believe how well 12 went over. The moment somebody said, "I don't know if I like this or season 6 more," I was like, "I'm done. That's it." Like I couldn't even comprehend that anybody would even dare to compare those, because season 6 is just like, it's reconstruction, man. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm still unbelievably proud of season 12, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. But I do wish I had a little more time to kind of come up with a better way to kind of deal with Carolina's OP-ness, I guess. I don't know. I think that's, out of everything I've read, that's probably my biggest regret and thing I'd love to go back and change. But
that actually
is what it is. And Carolina fans out there, I'm so sorry. I love you. She's gonna fucking shine this season.
Well, that actually brings up a question that I had. What was the inspiration for the episode "Long Time No See"? Like
that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. That was pretty much like Carolina's reintroduction to Badassdom, and the way that the episode was shot, the way that the episode was presented, was just different. It was different in almost every way than any previous episode of RVB was done. And I know a lot of work went into it. What brought you to that point to do that episode?
Bernie Burns. At the start of the season, he came up to me and says, "Hey, man, I have this idea." And he explained the idea, and he's like, "Would you mind if I wrote that episode?" I was like, "Dude, please, man." Like, I love it whenever Bernie has the time to sit down and be like, "Hey, dude, I have this idea. Let's talk about it." Because he's such a busy guy. And getting to collaborate with him on that episode a little bit, and I say collaborate, but really, like, he wrote like that whole AI sequence and all that stuff, and it was just super cool. And I think it was a great look inside Epsilon's head, what it's like to be an AI, and also a great way to bring back a bunch of fan favorites from season 10. And yeah, that was our first all-nighter, I think, that season, where we had to bring in a ton of people that weren't actually like on the official RVB team just to help us composite and get that thing out in time. Where we were there all night just trying to get it done, and there's still a lot of rough shots in it, but overall I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I just love the way it looked. I have this thing with, like, when it comes to choosing color for characters, I always like the bad guys being monochrome. Like, when we thought the Feds were the villains in season 11, they were all white, and then when we introduced the Space Pirates, they're all black. And that scene was a lot of fun to play with light, where everything's frozen. You see these harsh contrasting blacks and whites, and then Delta and Epsilon, all the eyes just like Christmas lights. They're so pretty. But yeah, that I got to give credit to Bernie for episode 11. And dude, I got to give him credit for the season 13 trailer that we actually released. That was an idea that he had when we were wrapping up season 12. And we were talking about how we go into 13, and he's like, "What if we do this?" And I'm like, "You're crazy." And then he's like, "Oh, we'll talk about it." And then when it came time for us to put out the trailer, he sent me that script, and I read it in my email, and I just responded with, "Dude, goosebumps." I love Bernie Burns, and I love it whenever he gets to write something really cool for the show, because I mean, dude, Bernie is like, dude, he is RVB. So yeah, major props to Bernie for providing us with the dialogue for the teaser, and then it was a lot of fun coming up with the concept of like going through Epsilon's memories and all that stuff, and working with David and Nico on the music. That was a lot of fun, and the trailer went over exactly like we hoped it would.
Okay, let's see. We have another question from Green Castellan, and he writes, "Miles, what is a typical workday like for you and your team?"
Whew. Okay. Well, that varies. Yesterday we did mocap all day, like all day. Today, come in, check email, send emails, 10:30 meeting with the team. We'll sometimes do 11 a.m. meeting with the whole company. Approve lighting, approve animation shots, go to an audio meeting, approve audio meeting, meet with animators whenever they need help, shot listing with Machinima, heat up lunch and eat that during another meeting. Um, we need to do mocap still today. We need to have a meeting with our composers here in a few hours. I'm recording Matt in an hour. Meeting with compositors. And then I think at some point today I might get to work on a script. And Cohen's giving me eyes right now. That's like, hey, we're gonna need you for stuff soon through the window. It's insane. I've never been more stressed out in my life, but it's also really, really rewarding. I'm going to, I don't sit at my desk anymore. Like, I'm constantly going to other people's desks to the point where I've ruined 2 pairs of jeans by going up to people's desks and kneeling on my right knee to talk about a shot. I have now worn holes in the right knee of 2 pairs of jeans since the season started. So it's crazy.
Okay, we have time for about 2 more questions.
Cool.
So at the end of season 12, the freelancer mercenaries are pretty much on their back heels because their entire plan just got exposed. What are Felix and Locust doing so that by the beginning of season 13, we don't have any more freelancers and season 13 is just a bunch of standing around doing nothing?
So what are the mercenaries doing between 12 and 13? Was that the question?
Pretty much so that we actually have a story for 13.
Oh, they are doing so many things. They are making so many plans, and they are gonna just supremely fuck some shit up. And to say any more would just ruin the season. So you'll find out when the season premieres just exactly what Locust and Felix have been up to.
Okay, so we have one last question, and this is from my editor, John Blabber. He wants to know, did you prefer reading Gonzo Green's written reviews for RVB Season 11 or my reviews for Season 12? Our editor just wants to start an intercompany feud that'll probably come to blows when I see Gonzo next.
I love all reviews equally. They all make me so happy. How's that mom and pop answer for you?
That was the greatest, like, who's your favorite child answer I've ever seen. Okay. All right, everybody. So thank you, everybody, for joining in on Bubble Blabber's exclusive interview with Miles Luna to celebrate the release of RVB Season 13 next Wednesday. Well, Tuesday if you're a subscriber.
April 1st for the public and March 31st for sponsors. We're also going to be doing a few more special things leading up to the release. Just check roosterteeth.com every day for news about that. Can't talk about it just yet, but we're really close to being able to talk about what we're going to do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So check out the website, y'all.
Well, you heard it here, guys. Miles, thank you again for showing up and doing this somewhat rushed interview, but I think we pulled through.
Thanks so much for having me, man. It was a lot of fun, and thanks for watching and asking questions.
It's no problem. If there's anything else you want to share for the stream before you go right ahead.
Hold on to your butts. This is going to be a big one.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. Miles, have a good afternoon, and everybody else in Twitch, go back to watching video games.